Hi Tauruses, how are you? This is Shooting Stars Tarot. Welcome to your monthly love reading. I realize that these are a little bit late, but I needed to get them out. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. The card at the bottom of your deck is the Two of Wands reversed, which is really interesting based on the other cards that we have here. Because the Two of Wands reverse is really talking about the fact that you've kind of made up your mind about a person or a situation or a relationship. And then when we look at the rest of your cards this month, it seems a little bit different. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the rest of the reading. So we have the Five of Pentacles reversed in your past. So you're coming from a place of not feeling out in the cold. Okay, you're coming from a place where maybe there was a little concern that you would be left out in the cold or stress about it, but ultimately it wasn't. Now, what I'm not understanding is why here we have this Nine of Swords. So I'll talk about that in a minute, but in your present situation, somebody's charging in. And you have a lot of swords here. So are you dealing with an air sign? You very well be dealing with an air sign. So somebody's kind of charging in. Maybe on the surface level, you like that they're charging in, but it also is impacting you. It's stressing you out. And Tauruses, this is what I'm confused about. So leave your comments below about why it is that you're stressing out, that you feel like you've made a decision and narrowed something down, but ultimately they're putting forth a lot of effort, but you're feeling stressed out. And if you are, maybe it could be because maybe they might be a lot more interested in you than you are in them. But look, Taurus, the underlying energy for the whole month is the Lover's card, and the overlying energy is the Ace of Cups reversed. So it's almost as if you want there to be love, and you think they would be a really good partner. And they're kind of doing things that show that they're very much into the relationship, but something's missing on some level. Something's missing. Enough is missing that it's causing you stress. Enough is missing that this new overflowing abundance of love is not happening for you on some level. Maybe you want there to be, but they could be acting a little crazy, and where you thought this was good, maybe where you thought that it was safe and good and it would turn into a love relationship, maybe they're acting in a way that's showing you otherwise. Because Tauruses, you're pretty grounded. I mean, you can be very social, you like comfortable environments, and so when somebody acts all over the place, it kind of takes the comfort out of the environment of the relationship, and so maybe that's what's happening a little bit. In your future, we have the King of Swords. So again, you could be dealing with an air sign, but you could also be taking on the mentality of being a little bit strategic. Like, okay, I think I'm going to give this a try and see if they continue acting being all over the place. Or are they scaring me? I don't know. You're like kind of waiting and seeing, and you're not really moving yet, but you're trying to be strategic about how you think about everything that they're doing without being reactionary. They're being reactionary, but you aren't. So how you feel about the relationship or the situation is the Knight of Wands. So in and out, in and out, in and out. Is this a person that kind of comes and goes and comes and goes? Somewhat possibly narcissistic, where they come and say all these things that they know you want to hear, but then ultimately their actions prove otherwise? Or are you taking on the Knight of Wands energy, which is the energy of Sagittarius, of being excited and going forward and saying, yes, I like what you're saying, I like what you're doing, I like you, I've kind of chosen that I want to do this with you. Yes, let's go. Two possible scenarios there. The Death card is how they're feeling about you. They don't feel like you need to change. So that's good. They're definitely really into you. In your hopes and fears, we have the Queen of Swords. So are you fearing that this emotion won't take place? This emotion that you want, is it not taking place? You're afraid it won't. And look at the outcome, Tauruses. We have the Ten of Cups reversed. So there is not emotional gratification, emotional satisfaction and fulfillment taking place. It's just not really here on some weird level. So, which is so odd when you're coming from in the recent past, when you're coming from this this Five of Pentacles, feeling included, feeling safe, feeling warm. And I think at one time, Taurus, there was this promise of this loving union, but then the more they acted like this, the more you felt anxiety ridden, stress. You didn't know what they were going to do next. They kept saying things maybe, but they weren't doing things, or they kept expectingly doing things, and it just confused you and stressed you out. Because again, you liked comfortable environments, but you don't like, you can deal with things changing, but you don't like volatile environments, and that's kind of what this energy is. There's volatility here. It kind of zaps all the emotion right out of what was and could be so promising. And then again, back to this, are they coming and going? Is this somebody that's just in and out of your life and you're just not sure where they stand? Very, very possible. Okay, high level look at the team now. We're going to go a bit deeper. I'm going to use a different deck and continue. All right, Spirit and Universe, what are the messages for Tauruses this month of 15? What are the messages and advice and guidance for Taurus's love life? Taurus's love life. Taurus's love life. Taurus's love life in team. This has been popping up for so many people. 8 of Wands. That's because we're through this eclipse energy. We're through the Lion's Gate. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So slow movement, slow to decide. That's why you had the King of Swords in the last spread, because you're really trying to be strategic, because at one point this was very hopeful. So you're hoping that it kind of gets back to that place, but you're not making any sudden movements or sudden decisions or any movements from your end. You're just being a little strategic about moving forward with them, trying to figure out what's going to happen or what is happening. Okay, at the center of the deck we have the 3 of Swords. So is this somebody that's coming and going? Are they breaking your heart and then mending it and then breaking it and mending it? Is there a third-party situation going on? That's the theme of her. Okay, this like relationship uncertainty, and it impacts you. We have the 2 of Pentacles, 9 of Discs, and Page of Cups. So you want these, you're longing for and you want emotional messages towards you. There could be a Pisces or a water sign in your realm. We saw heavy air signs in the previous spread, but you're wanting some sort of emotional communication. Not crazy emotional, not all over the place emotional, but you want something that tells you that, yes, I'm your support system. We're supporting each other. I want to move forward with you. Something that's solid but emotional. So this is kind of a younger type of energy. So there's a carefree aspect, a carefree type of energy associated with this Page of Cups and these messages that come forward. So you need to really you'd be hoping that this whole love scenario that we're talking about here gets lightened up. Because here you are focusing on work, diligently working away, juggling a lot, maybe with work and friends, and maybe this person that's in and out of your life, maybe they stress you out. So you're kind of juggling, the relationship when they're here and juggling other stuff when they're gone, or adding more stuff in their place when they leave. And then they come back and it's like juggling. So you're kind of in, I call this gear mode, this card specifically, because we have the gears in the root and sacral chakras. And then we have air maze here throughout the rest of the chakras, at least up through the throat chakra. So there's healthiness here. You're feeling good about everything. You're feeling very lighthearted. There's a decision that needs to be made. You definitely want equality from this person. 6 of Pentacles. Equality. And you want this type of innocent type of equality. It's not well, I did this, so they need to do that. And if they don't, then this is going to happen. Not that type of equality. It's just effortless. And you don't get it. You don't get this effortless equality, effortless communication with them. It's like it's always tugging at something that is just annoying. They're always, I'm sensing there's just this like constant, something's always wrong, or they're always upset, or they always had a bad day at work, or they don't jive well with you, and you want them to because maybe they did so much at the beginning, but you're seeking this equality and it's not coming. And then here with the Eight of Wands, there's all this communication, but it's not getting through to you because you're actually protecting your emotions here. You're surrounding yourself, you're barricading yourself, blocking yourself in to protect your emotions because there's just so much communication coming toward you. And normally this is such a beautiful, positive card. Everybody loves communication from a loved one. Everybody loves Cupid's arrows or traveling and love is involved. Everybody loves that. But here, protection, self-preservation of your emotions, shying away from all of this passion, maybe because they're acting like the Knight of Swords. Then we have two major arcana cards here, Temperance and the Star. So healing and trying to maintain emotional balance, which you do very well, Tauruses. Trying to maintain emotional balance, but also working on healing and also to continue believing that either this person can change or that the relationship can kind of turn around or take a turn for the better. Believing in love, believing in connection, but staying very balanced about it also. Now here's what's interesting, Taurus, is because we have the Seven of Discs, and this is talking about the acknowledgement that more work can be done. More work needs to be done. And for this to be kind of your outcome card in this spread, it's like you're juggling too much. You're going to be making a decision, slow movement forward, after rest. And then there's this heartbreak, and then there's this willingness to continue moving forward as long as you're both moving forward together. You see how they're shooting towards the sunlight, towards the mountain together? So it's like this person's kind of in and out, but you seem to be okay with that on some level. Or even if they are physically there, even if they're like your partner and they're physically there, emotionally it seems like maybe they just check out a little bit every once in a while. Plus it's football season. There they go, every Sunday you have free day. So it's like you want them to be there. I'm going to pull some high-level advice and guidance cards for you, Tauruses. What are the high-level advice and guidance messages for Tauruses? High-level advice and guidance messages. High-level advice and guidance. Seven of Wands, Ten of Swords, Queen of Swords. Again, we have the Queen of Swords. In terms of high-level advice and guidance, Tauruses, if your partner's acting a little crazy, don't necessarily assume the worst. However, be cautious. There might be sneaking behavior going on. If they're all in and then all out on the drop of a dime, then like they can't be trusted. And then we have the Ten of Swords here. So that phase, that cycle, possibly this relationship is coming to a close. So guard your emotions like we saw here with the Eight of Wands. Okay? Be open to seeing what they do, but guard your emotions, move slowly, okay? Keep your temperament about you, stay even-keeled, willing to work, but they're going to have to prove to you almost that this isn't really going on. Okay? They're saying all these things, they're coming in with all these great actions, right? You felt so safe leading up to this moment. So what happened? Where'd they go? Why are they back now? Why are they saying all these things? There's a little bit of kind of shadiness here that I think you're just uncertain of. It doesn't mean this is going on. Keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that is going on at all, but have this awareness about you when you interact with them. Have some awareness about it, because if they're acting like the Knight of Swords, sometimes, and then other times they've kind of emotionally checked out of the relationship, then yeah, that is cause for concern. So take emotion out of it and be a little strategic about watching and learning and gathering information, right? All right, Tauruses, well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that. I also posted the weekly readings simultaneously, so those are up also. So be sure to watch that. All right, enjoy your week. If you want to order a private reading, you can just click on the link below. And if not, I will see you next week. All right, bye.